Hey, this is Anthony Davis, and we are going to explore the anatomy of the foot today. So we will cover some of the application of these muscles as it pertains to movement. I might mention yoga specifically. These muscles are especially going to be important with balance. I'll talk a little bit about arch stability as well. Okay, let's get into this. Full disclaimer, we are not covering all of the muscles of the foot. There are quite a few that I've left off, and some of the ones that I will cover, I will very briefly cover and then just move on. Really just trying to give you a picture of really what's going on in the foot, even if you don't get a depth of understanding of each individual muscle. The muscles that you'll really need to be familiar with are things like gastrocnemius, soleus, which is underneath that or deep to that. The fibularis muscles you'll need to know, things like that. Okay, so let's start off with the deepest muscles that we have in the foot. I'll just barely touch on these. So on the left side here, we have the lumbricals. And the lumbricals of the foot mostly are going to help with what feels like, well, it's flexion of the toes. But, and actually, I think we can see it. Yes, we can. Wonderful. So if these muscles contract, that's how you push off of your toes. So that'll be important in balance. You know, if you're rocking too far forward and you need to use your toes like brakes, it's important to use those muscles. However, the methods that I use for balance, I actually shy away from using those muscles too much for balance, and I'll explain that here in a moment. So I actually have us lift the toes for balance. On the right foot here, underneath or deep to the plantar aponeurosis, which is where you would get plantar fasciitis, underneath this we are going to see the interosseous muscles, which once again are going to work with flexion if these muscles contract. Okay. And, oh, that's nice. You get the lumbricals on top of that. Perfect. Anyway, the other function is that they can adduct. So squeezing your toes together, not spreading them apart. So they're going to help with some of the stability of the foot. Okay. Now, the plantar fascia is really interesting to me because if we use the muscles, the extensors of the toes, then if we lift the toes, and I'll get into greater depth in a moment with this, if you lift the toes, it'll help to actually lift the inner arch. I'll just leave that hanging for a second while we go over here and look at the anatomy of the extensor muscles. So the extensor digitorum longus muscle here, I'll just show you how it extends. Well, since it crosses two joints, you should know that it is also a dorsiflexor here. But since it goes all the way to the distal IP joints, it goes to the base of the distal phalanx is what I mean, then it will also lift there. That's lifting and lifting. Cool. So lifting in this case is obviously called extension. So if we start from flex to neutral and then up to extension. Okay, so lifting the toes. Awesome. So just get a picture here at the metacarpophalangeal joint right there. And I just want you to see this moving. Okay, and imagine that underneath this we had a plantar aponeurosis. Okay, and what would happen to that? It would become tighter. So let's see what would happen if we lift our toes while we were balancing. What would happen is this. Oh, let's move this guy a little bit over here. Oh, and okay. So here's what would happen. So we've got the plantar fascia here, right? And it ties in to really some of the ligaments and joint capsules here of basically the toes, the phalanxes, and at this joint here, which is the metacarpophalangeal joint of the metatarsal. I think I accidentally said carpal a minute ago too. Sorry, I was just dealing with the hand recently. Metatarso-phalangeal joint. Okay, so anyway, at this joint, what's going to happen is that if we lift the toes, then the toes, all right, so the toes lift up. Now, what's going to happen is it's pulling the plantar aponeurosis this way, which, because of this, so the toes go up here, this is going up, here, this is going up, here even, this goes up. And since this goes up, it'll push down here, which means the base of the toe goes down. Okay? So that means if the base of the toe, if this goes down, then that will cause an effect on this metatarsal. And what will happen is that the end of this metatarsal will go up here. Okay? So I'll just paint that a little bit clearer picture here. So we've got this is all going down here. And then this goes up here. Okay? And what that means is that this space here, here is your arch, the inner arch. It's going to lift. It's going to lift up. And so we're going to see that we have a higher arch. And this is going to be really important. I don't think I need to go into too much detail. We all have a general sense of the idea that arch stability is important. Arch stability is important for shock absorbance, for balance, for proper functioning of the muscles around the foot so that they have their proper length-tension relationships, meaning that they're not overstretched or overworked, that they're in the best functional positions. So this is pretty cool stuff here. So try it yourself. Pause the video. Go stand on your 2 feet and look at your inner arch. Look at your inner arch, and then pick up your toes. And I guarantee you, your inner arch will lift some degree. So try it out. I think that's pretty cool. So I like to actually focus on balancing with the toes lifted off of the floor. Okay, let's move on. So we've covered extensor digitorum longus. It's an extensor. It's a dorsiflexor. So we've already covered that. And because we have, let's go ahead and hide it so we can move deeper. So the tibialis anterior muscle here is going to be another important dorsiflexor of the foot. And we can see it working here in dorsiflexion. Okay, and it's going to work on more of the medial aspect. This is going to be another muscle that helps to contribute to pulling and lifting the inner arch, because you can see where it attaches. And if it's pulling on that metatarsal, then it'll start to lift your inner arch a little bit. The other action that it will perform is eversion. So this is going to be important for certain yoga poses where your foot is out to the side, or movement whenever you step kind of sideways. So this is going to be important, especially if you step sideways and dorsiflex. Tibialis anterior is going to be really important. Fun fact, a lot of times when people think they have shin splints, this muscle is really just overactive. You haven't done anything necessarily to your bone. A lot of times this muscle just is really sore because we don't train it very often. So it's easy to make it really sore, and then it feels like your shin has suffered more damage than really it has. Not all the time, though. Obviously, see a PT for any kind of issues that you ever have, or a chiropractor or a sports chiropractor. Okay, let's see. Oops. Hide. Okay, next up, fun. Your toe, your big toe, has its own extensor. So we'll look at this here. Just working on the big toe. The other toes are moving, but those are being pulled by extensor digitorum. Okay. Longus. So let's hide this. Okay. We've got another extensor digitorum. This is the brevis. Same function as the longus. It's just shorter. And therefore, it will not flex the ankle at all. It will have no impact on the ankle. Okay, so the fibularis muscles are really important here for balance. Working sort of in a cross-stabilizing way, we see that the muscle starts on the lateral aspect of the shin and crosses kind of like slingshots here around the end of the distal end of the fibula. That's the other leg bone. And it crosses under here and boop, 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 right there, connects to the base of the metatarsal, of the great toe. And what it'll do is evert. So this is really important for balance because it's our wobbling side to side muscle. So this will help us to stabilize from side to side. On top of that, you can imagine that this muscle is also really important in being able to press the knee to the side if you're doing a squat, which if you're squatting, especially if you're doing deep squats, naturally what will happen is your knee will push a little bit out to the side, and that's actually to be encouraged. But in order to do that, you have to be able to evert your foot. So this muscle becomes a strong player there if you're relearning how to squat. And I know not everybody squats in this way, but at the very least, it is a very important balance muscle. Okay, so gastrocnemius here, this is the calf muscle that we're all familiar with. This is the one that you can see on, bicyclists. It crosses two joints, so it crosses the ankle and it also crosses the knee. I will bring some awareness to this muscle in the fact that while it plantar flexes at the ankle here, so pushing off of the foot like this, there, plantar, pushing off of the foot. So balancing on your tiptoes, this muscle is going to be really active. But it also crosses the knee joint and causes flexion of the knee. And this is important when any time that a muscle crosses two joints, we'll see that an action in one joint has a significant impact over the action of another joint. So this is why foot stability is so important for knee stability, especially with this muscle, but also with the other muscles here that go into and sort of connect near the knee joint. But this muscle, because it crosses the knee joint here, we can start to see that it can act as a brace against hyperextension of the knee, for example, but even just to sort of hold the joint taut, so it can create that stabilizing force in the knee. Let's go ahead and then here's your calcaneal tendon. This is just with what we call the Achilles tendon. It's just a really long tendon, but it's from the gastrocnemius muscle. Underneath the gastrocnemius is soleus. This is a pure plantar flexor of the ankle. So we'll watch this. There we go. And you can see its surrounding muscles. Cool. Okay. Not much to say about that. Again, I'm just going to help with balance and stability, and obviously an important muscle for running. Okay, here we go. Underneath this, we've got tibialis posterior, another important balancing muscle, side to side. Okay, another one that's going to really help with side to side movement and stability so you don't wobble too much side to side. Okay. All right. That pretty much does it for the foot. That's most of the structures that are really necessary to get into here with just an overview. There's a lot of really interesting stuff here with the ligaments, the spring ligaments, deltoid ligaments, these ligaments that are just connecting here. We're calling this a retinaculum. Interesting. My anatomy textbooks, have these listed different. But anyway, these ligaments are important. They provide a springiness to the foot, and the foot obviously needs to be springy so we can run and jump and do all that fun stuff. So ligament damage in the foot is really nasty business because it impairs your ability to basically do everything that you want. One other thing that I'll mention, usually the lateral aspect here is where we're going to see problems in the ligaments from rolling the ankle. So rolling the ankle is an inversion of the foot rather than an eversion. So you damage the outside of the ankle. Okay, cool. That's it for now. I believe upper limb is next. So stay tuned and comment below if you've got any questions. Thanks.